So to this day, we still have kind of talked about one of these days. We don't know if we really will or not, but one of these days we have said we're going to get some money. We're going to rent a Ferrari and a Jaguar, close down some area, and switch 4 lanes screaming money in it. It'll be the biggest waste of money. And that's the bottom line. That's a terrible Stone Cold. Because Stone Cold said so.
Awesome. That was the first one I thought of.
What was the other one you thought of?
Stone Cold, baby.
Oh, okay.
And I thought you were going to say Austin 316s.
I just whooped your ass. Which is still Stone Cold related.
Yeah.
The other A's that y'all were thinking of were names, though. So that's cute. That's interesting. But anyway, what's going on, everybody? This is the Whatever We Want podcast, and I am one of your hosts. I go by the name of Superjaz.
Okay.
SJ, JT, whatever you want, or Jazz, whatever you want, what have you in the like. I mean, hey, I even paused because I was expecting.
It's not my job. It's not my job here. It's not my job here.
Never mind. Hey.
Gotcha.
And as I said, I am one of the hosts because I am also, as always, joined by the other host of the show.
Y'all know who it is, what's going on, what is happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari feogrande on YouTube, occasionally referred to as Pete on this show. Doing good as well. And as we've drawn attention to, we have a guest on the show today.
This is the second time, another guest. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Why did you what you look like?
Because that wasn't even an introduction. You didn't even give me an introduction. To be fair, it was a weird way to throw it to me.
If you're going to call out my balk.
Yeah, so as he said, right, for the second time from feogrande, Omari's other channel, from This Guy Hasn't Seen, and other various places on the internet, we are joined by
El Director himself.
Well, I was about to say that time. Okay, I don't know what you want me to do. You want me to literally? I'm kicking it.
Well, I think because when I kick it to him, I say his name. I'm like Bill Smith, but on this show, we generally you go. I'm joined by, and then I introduce myself.
Oh, I'm not in the rhythm. I'm not in the rhythm. It's okay.
I get it now. I don't
know this guy hasn't.
My name is William Smith. You may also know me as Bill. Everyone here will refer to me as Bill. I am very happy to be joining this show today. It is a great conversation, and I love being here with y'all. I am also a regular listener, so it is it's good to be on.
That's it.
How did this go so smoothly the first time?
Because it's like I didn't know that I forget like on you all's thing, right? You always kind of intro a nickname or his name, but here we always say.
I think the same thing happened the first time where I balked, but I didn't. But nobody called out the balk. I just eventually said my name.
Okay.
So he's like the first time it was like an issue or whatever, but you didn't make it obvious yet.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, what? I just thought it was funny that this would happen on the second showing. Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Oh,
what are we watching? Yeah.
How did we both do that? Okay. Yes, this is the Whatever We Want podcast, as previously stated, and already kind of getting into what the whole point of the podcast is, where, as I always say, we do just that. We talk about whatever we want. We do not lead these conversations. The conversation leads us, and we let these chips fall where they may.
Every Wednesday.
We let these chips fall where they can.
From New York to Japan,
Let these chips fall where they could.
every neighborhood,
We let these chips fall where they will.
with our good friend Bill.
We let these chips fall where they might.
That was the one to end it on. I agree with you, Omari.
Okay.
His face was like, how would you not end it with that one? He was so happy with himself.
I also thought that's what he was setting it up for. I was like, oh, that's genius.
This whole time, I was leading it all up to this one episode. All the time I was doing
just
that
this
stupid shit.
episode.
It was this. No, okay.
Just in the context of this episode. Anyhow, yes. So, yes, we let the conversation lead us as we are to will, but sometimes, we get a little thing, a little prompt to get things going, a little like first topic of the show. I didn't really have one today. Did you have one, Josh?
Well, I believe that the third point of this triangle said that he had something that might get things going.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was hoping I would find something.
It ain't gotta be nothing. We can just sit here, just literally.
Well, I was thinking about it in the last few seconds, and last time you and I talked, last time we all talked,
Okay.
it was in reference to a movie called Lady Bird, and there were a bunch of different themes in that movie, but I was trying to grab one, and I was thinking about, one that. A topic that can stir a lot of conversation, I think, is money and finances.
Okay.
So I'm curious. You don't know me. I'm not Bill. I'm just some crazy billionaire. And I go to you guys and I say, how much money to not only stop your podcast, but not talk to each other forever?
Holy shit. I never thought about that. So how much money would it take for me and this dude to never speak to each other again for the rest of our lives?
I want to buy out your podcast so I can do it. But also, I'm afraid that you guys are going to restart a podcast under a different name. So in the clause of the contract, you cannot speak to each other ever again.
Like, not like speak to each other publicly. We can't speak to each other, period, public or private.
I mean, if you do, it's going to be skirting the law.
Holy shit.
I'm a crazy fucking billionaire. I could hire a private detective to follow both of you for the rest of your life. You don't know. And if you break the binds of my contract, not only do I take all the money back, but you owe me some shit.
I mean, shit, we've been friends for over 23 fucking years and some shit. 24.
So put a dollar value on it.
He's like, so bitch.
How much is that worth? I ain't paying you in years.
Is this the part where our friendship
Ain't got
ends?
enough.
One of us
planned the whole time.
one of us puts an amount and then the other
Right, one of you says $2,000.
and then one of us says the other one says something like lower, and then it's just like, oh, that's all it's worth to you.
Shit, take me to
Like, dude, all you gotta do is fucking give me an airhead and then let me watch TV uninterrupted. Fuck. Like, that's it.
Nah, I couldn't. I couldn't do that with either of you.
To think, man, and it's just like,
I mean, come on. We don't have to spare each other's feelings. There's a number out there.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay,
Like $50 million to never talk to Jazz again, Omari.
feelings aside, as much as we can, feelings aside is
Right.
hard to completely do, but as much as we can, like, shit. How 75 cents? No, I'm joking. It sound like it's a piece of shit. Fuck. See, that's the thing, because it's like,
Have you guys ever mapped out, like, I don't know, I feel like this is a ubiquitous, like, everyone has this, but have you ever mapped out like what you're doing with your $150 million jackpot lottery win. Even if you like, I never even play, but constantly I think about the different steps I'm going to be taking. I don't know if has that already been an episode. I feel like that's been an episode of this before.
I don't know, even if it hasn't.
I mean, this is 76 right now, so we can talk about a lot of shit, but I don't think we talked about this actually.
As far as mapping out winnings, generally one of the first things that comes to my head, and I'm not even trying to sound superficial with this, well, not superficial, artificial, not trying to sound artificial with this, because it's not a fake answer, it's just what I genuinely think is, all right, I get this. Obviously, there's going to be some cool stuff for me, but my mind also immediately goes to, all right, so if I do this, I can help insert friend here, this, that, my mom, so and so, just helping like different like friends and people like around me first, and then I'm like, and then I just save like a whole ton, but I'm like, but also can't tell too many people early on, so they don't just come bombarding at me. And it's like, hey, I came into some new money and helped you with this and that, and the other.
There's that one movie with Bow Wow and Brandon T. Jackson back in the day called Lottery Ticket, where he like it's a throwaway movie, but anyway, he Bow Wow won. He like wins the lottery, like gets a lottery ticket, but it happened over the weekend, so the places weren't open where he could cash it yet. And then,
oh yeah, I think I've seen that.
And then the other people in the hood kind of find out like he like got it, so it's about him for like about 2 days straight trying to dodge everybody before he could finally cash it in. Because once he cashed it in, then he can hire security, so it wasn't a problem. But it was like, oh shit, I gotta dodge everybody, but hold on to this fucking ticket, you know. So yeah, it's about that. Yeah. Kind of like what you said reminded me of that. But no, what I had like thought about doing back in the day definitely was because obviously I love acting, been acting, trying to do it consistently or whatever. I was like, shit, if I win the lottery, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna settle every debt, like whatever debts I got, I'm gonna buy like nice car, nice house, family, whatever. Then I was like, I'm gonna open a theater company or film production company, however indie or otherwise, open one. All the people that I know that are like, talented enough, like as far as directing, writing, whatever, I'm gonna like get my friends or, acquaintances, business partners, and I'm gonna like get this shit going acting wise. That was what I used to say was the thing was like, after the cliche of take care of family and debts was I'm gonna open a theater company. Now I'm like, I still might open a film production company, of course, because, whatever. But now I'm like, would it be film production? Would it be music? Would it be a hybrid? But it would be something along the lines of I'm working for a living to do that shit, outside of it. So that would be so I don't have to work to do it.
Oh, yeah, y'all definitely would be getting calls from me like, it's fucking time. We're making something, movie, something. It's happening. I got the beans now. It's happening.
When I was a kid, my grandparents on the weekends we would go out to. There's a little like lake community out in mid-Missouri called Terre de Lac, and there was it's like a grouping of like 6 different lakes that aren't gigantic like Lake of the Ozarks, but they're big enough to where you can get like a speedboat on them and like water ski or tube or whatever, or just go out to a cove and swim or whatever. But they got into that community really early on, way back in the day. And so we had the only piece of property going around this lake that didn't have a house on it or anything, because they never had the money to build on the property. They just had the money to buy into to buy the property. And then slowly throughout the next like 50 years, every square inch around the lake got bought and a big like lake house mini mansion was put on there and all that. But like every weekend we would go out and stay at like a campgrounds that was like 10 minutes away from the lake, and then go out to the lake every day. And so since I was a child, one of my lottery dreams is to basically buy every property surrounding probably the lake that I grew up on, and just yeah, like you get a house, you get a house, you get a house, you get a house,
shit, yeah.
and it's just mine and the people I know's lake. That's always been like a number one thing that I've always thought about.
So here's a question, right? If you come into like a huge, vast amount of money like that, do you like towel off first? No, anyway, you come into a huge, vast amount of money. you come into a lot of money. Do you choose to do the whole, like some people do, like, big house, like big city life? Or do you choose to do what some people do, like, I'm going to buy a big, nice house, but I want to get away? Like some people buy, like,
I mean,
acres, like, my own plot.
So if it's lottery money, it's both. Particularly here in this part of the country. I'm getting the house at Terre de Lac, which is about an hour and 45 minutes away with traffic. And then I'm also getting a downtown loft as close to Busch Stadium as I can, because I also have season tickets.
Yeah.
If you got that much money, yeah, and they're gonna be club seats, right?
Right, and so I got the downtown loft for the nights that I stay at, for the nights that I go to the Cardinal game, and anytime that I'm giving the tickets away, then I want to spend the weekend at the lake, then I'm at the lake.
Yeah.
Buy more than one and just decide, yeah.
Right. If it's a choice, then I'm going to choose. I'm going to as long as internet access is high quality, I'm going to choose the country living space and not city life. I think that's where my time is heading at some point.
I feel like when it comes to like getting away, like the whole like, ranch or vast acre land or whatever away from everybody, I feel like that is not all it's cracked up to be if you're doing it by yourself. I haven't found anybody that like, I found a significant other or whatever yet. So like, if I'm just in there away from everybody, just by my fucking self, y'all would find me after months just like,
yeah,
talking to fucking motherfuckers in the corner and shit that aren't there, seeing shit, and yeah. No. Now, if I found like a woman I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, then yeah, okay, I could probably do that. But at the moment, even if I did find that, but at the moment, I see, I've always, just been used to city life. So I couldn't see myself doing it with or without a significant other, but especially without a significant other, no, I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Has your money is not an object dream car, has that changed throughout your life, or are you guys still the 12-year-old? Because like the 12-year-old boy me wanted a 57 convertible Corvette with white leather interior, red piping, dark wood dash, and like a cream exterior.
Oh, your shit is plain.
Yeah. 30-year-old Bill wants something more on the end of just like a high-end luxury vehicle, of just like a luxury ride, and like dream engine, like like a hybrid or even full electric kind of dream car, like one of the really high-end electric BMWs or Mercedes sedans.
That you plug in.
Yeah, something that I know is going to be a completely reliable, smooth, comfortable ride, and is also going to look really nice. Kind of morphed away from the convertible sports car,
super flashy
engine kind of thing.
Sorry about the size of your dick. Like, that type of shit.
What's y'all's no money or money is not an object dream car that you'd be tooling around in?
So, while not nearly as detailed of a planned out car, because I never knew enough about cars to know makes and models for like specific years and stuff. However, I know when I was younger, I definitely wanted a Corvette. Like when I saw like some Corvettes, I was like, "Ooh, Corvette seems cool."
But you're not aware of like the year, like even decade.
I'll say
when Corvettes changed like a 70s, like a 50s, 60s is much different than a 70s, 80s.
That's why I'm saying it would have been closer to whatever modern day was at the time when I saw the Corvette. So while I never really wanted the super loud cars like you were saying, the flashy look for the car, like a car where you go, damn. That's always been me, and probably just either whether it's Corvette, Lambo, or something. Money's not an object.
When the Plymouth Prowler came out?
One of those is the thing. I think so.
Bill knows his cars, man. Yeah. I did not know cars for real like that.
Plymouth Prowler, that was a weird fucking car that came out in our lifetime.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was weird.
What was the one that they had like the old videos back in like the 70s or some shit, maybe the 80s, where it was what was that shit? They had it on like I Love the 70s or some shit where it was like the second it got in an accident, it just like fucking engulfed in flames. It looked like a hatchback type thing or something. It was like, I don't want to drive that shit only.
I think the Gremlin is that the one that's in the American equivalent.
Because they even like had the side of the car, and they were like, if you look at it the way it looked, it almost looked like the side of a duck's head, and it kind of did.
Yeah,
I forget what it was. It might have been, but it was like they had it where like the second it hit like a wall. Because, they got to do crash tests. So the second it hit something, it was just, it was like, I'm not going to drive that shit.
Yeah, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's the Gremlin. It's the Gremlin.
Okay. It's like, no, I want to. The second this bitch hit the, no. Oh, man. I was never in the cars for real like that. Like, did it look good? Did it work? Okay, cool. That's how I was with it. So I can't really tell you anything probably like to be honest, if I had money wasn't an issue, I'd probably have more than one, and I would have one that was just really, really, really nice and, wasn't super flashy, but then I'd also have my butterfly door, Lambo with fucking LED lights underneath the bitch or whatever. And I always think LED lights are like a little fucking obnoxious.
Yes.
But if I had money, I might be Mr. Obnoxious. So, and I have butterfly doors. Maybe not suicide doors, but definitely. Or I have like the DeLorean, like fucking open up doors like that and shit.
I mean, if we're talking about collections, like I am also going to need a car that I can matte black everything. It's going to get a matte black wrap. It's going to have matte black rims. Like all the trim is going to be matte black. And like heavily tinted windows. I don't know why I've always wanted to do that to a car, but that would be like that would probably be my like utility vehicle. Like I'll get
become Batman, like no.
Well, there's a really cool thing now of like people restoring like early 90s, late 80s trucks, that old boxier truck that we kind of grew up in our childhoods. They're lifting them. They're putting better tires. They're putting modern kit inside of it, modern motor, sometimes even electric motors. That would be a cool thing to just kind of like flat black everything to. That would definitely be an addition.
I mean,
and I would have the Corvette and the Mercedes, as stated earlier. I'm not sure about the Mercedes. It's definitely a 4-door sedan. It's probably a high gloss black instead of the flat belt black with like nice shiny rims and stuff. But like that one won't be all blacked out. But it's either going to be a Mercedes, a BMW, or an Audi.
And then going to the car thing too. To this day, me and my brother Ibn, this is some stupid shit. Oh man, this is some stupid shit. It's not so much that we want to own these cars, but when we were like little kids, Pete don't know what I'm talking about. But there was this song where the dude was like a Ferrari and a Jaguar switching 4 lanes with the top down screaming out money and everything. So to this day, when we were younger, yeah. So when we were younger, me and Ibn were like, we should do that one day. So to this day, we still have kind of talked about one of these days. We don't know if we really will or not, but one of these days we have said we're gonna get some money. We're gonna rent a Ferrari and a Jaguar, close down some area, and switch 4 lanes, screaming money in it. It'll be the biggest waste of money.
I've had similar dreams of just like
I'm
going to do something that's just. Of course, this person's just doing something like that, like the Ferrari Jaguars.
Like there are so many fun, like in addition to just like it's not waste, but it's just like crazy random adventures you can do if you have just absolute like I read about all the time about Shaq. Like whenever he's in a town and he's just kind of bored, he'll go to either like the big grocery store in town or the Walmart or something like that, and he'll just start pointing at people and be like, "Your bill's paid for. I'm gonna buy those. I'm gonna buy everything in that cart."
Holy shit!
He like finds a little 6-year-old. He's like, "You need a new bike? We're gonna come here. We're gonna go buy bikes." And like, he's just gonna go buy a random bike.
Cool.
No, yeah, for real.
That is what he does.
Yeah, he like that's just one of his like I'm bored activities. He just goes to a store that he knows normal people are gonna be at, and is just like, your bill's taken care of.
Holy shit! That's what you're supposed to do when you got money too, man.
No, yeah, that's the kind of shit that you go somewhere and you just like every time I would go grocery shopping, I would just buy the person's groceries in front of me and behind me. Like, why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Especially if I had the Shaq money, that would.
You got Shaq money, yeah.
With how addicted I am to people's reactions and like putting smiles on people's faces, I would totally do something like that if I had like Shaq money. Just like, you know what? I kind of want a quick fix, real quick. Hey, you. Everything in your card trade for today. What? Nah, I got you.
I think about it all the time because I'm not at that kind of place where I can just like throw around crazy money. But like probably like once a month, there's a moment where I'm the next person in line, and like somebody and it's never a situation where they're hurting, where they're like trying to scrounge for the money, but there's always just a moment of like they had a 20 out and it ended up being 22, 25, and so they got to go back into their wallet. And I just want to like, there's a part of me that's just like, my God, no, but I never do it. But like,
that's like sometimes in the drive-thru when people do that whole pay it forward thing where they're like, okay, so your bill's gonna be $10.57. Okay, how much of the food for the people behind me? And then it's just like $7.22. Yeah, I'm gonna buy theirs too. Yeah. And then, you hear the stories of like everybody buying the food for the people behind them for a minute type thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? I might end up doing that. That's something I've never done, but I might end up doing that shit.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool to do.
I've never done the whole I'm gonna buy the food for the people behind me thing. So shit, maybe I will do that. Because am I rich by any means? Hell no. But I definitely I got a little bit more money, or like a little more like evened off like level monetarily, than I have been in some years. So
right.
I did pay like one person's extra shit. It wouldn't hurt nothing. But yeah, man. We didn't ask Pete about where would you stay if you had a chance to do like city living or acre, like more. I won't say country life, but more so country life.
Right, just I guess more secluded than
secluded
than city life.
Secluded, yeah. So I would probably have one of each, kind of a la what Bill was saying. One close to the local sports watching facility of choice, whether that's Busch Stadium or whatever.
What is that? Just declare it. All money is no object. Where are you buying season tickets to?
All right, so especially because I would get a house in St. Louis or two, just so I can definitely have something at home. I've always thought about that. I'm definitely going to have residences here and in St. Louis so that I can just go back and forth to. So I probably
both your homes now, yeah.
Shit. And though I'm not a big baseball watcher, I have been to a lot of games at Busch Stadium, and it is an experience. So
and
I could
football's
set
gone,
like
and we don't have basketball anymore. So
yeah, and
there's not much options.
And in all honesty, it would be a good way, like the across the street from Busch Stadium or near Busch Stadium, like what you were saying, with season tickets would be fantastic for the visiting back and forth. I could just call up Bill, be like, Bill, let's go catch a Cardinals game. We're here, Jazz, Ibn, everybody. Yep. Let's go chill at the Cardinals game. Let's go chill downtown. I don't remember where. I feel bad because I don't.
And whenever you're in Florida, I'm getting them tickets.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah. Cash in that frame card. Fuck.
So having a house in a city across the street from a thing is nice, but one of my dream houses when I was younger was I was playing. I'm a geek, as people know. I was playing the game X-Men. I was playing the game X-Men Legends, and
X-Men.
Yeah, shut up.
Who knew he liked X-Men?
Shut up. But the mansion, the way it was like built out in there, from the way the interior and stuff, I thought about like, if I'm ever really, really super rich, I'm gonna build to scale this mansion.
Well, the X mansion.
Yes,
including the underneath part.
Yeah, the like cool like sub basement and everything, and instead of a danger room, that could be like a theater. Like to watch, like a home theater, have people over, let's watch some fucking shit in the danger room type deal.
He's always gonna want to watch X-Men.
What did was it Cat Williams said I think he said he went over Martin Lawrence's house and he wanted stand-ups. I think it was Martin Lawrence. And he said that Martin Lawrence had like a whole theater and had like a popcorn making machine. And he said, you just watching popcorn pop. You just watching it. Like, this don't even make sense. And you go back to your house and you see your house and remember his theater. He was like, I can't even sleep here, man.
So pretty much, yeah.
A home theater is a must.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, no, like, I didn't even think about it. Like, no shit, I gotta have a home. I thought about at some point, I thought about getting a projector just for my apartment and just, like, creating, like, a home theater-ish thing here, shit.
But, yeah, to have a house like that would have to be a seclusion thing, and I would have had to have, like you said, living by yourself in a house that damn big...
You'd go crazy,
especially with like how much I enjoy like being around friends and stuff. I would definitely do the city houses like first, or the city lofts first. Let me not say city houses because
if your house is gigantic, do you move your mothers into it? Or do you still move them into a separate house?
Until my parents get to a point where they can't look after themselves, we're going to have our own houses.
Even if your house is basically 5 houses,
then
squished on top of each other.
Mom and dad can get a 5-house house too. Like, yo, I love y'all. we don't need to be until you get to a point where you can't look after yourself. We don't need to be together.
Yeah, definitely get my mom her own house.
Yeah, she'll be taken care of.
But if she gets to a point where she can't take care of herself or whatever, I am vehemently against nursing homes. Because I just see them all as death sentences just based on my life experiences. So if I have any ability to not put her in one of those, I'm going to take it. But until it gets to that point, there you go, Mom, here's a house.
That's what I was saying. Like, you don't need to be staying with me if we both think that you good and then other people think you good, you don't need to be staying with me. And we'll both love each other for it. I'll be over there a lot. You can come visit a lot.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Stay over several times and whatever. But
with a house that fucking big, you can definitely stay over.
Yeah, she can stay over nights in a row without you even realizing it.
But do you actually have to reside here? And that's not to say that I don't love the fuck out of my mom and my dad, but I'm in my early 30s right now. I need a little bit of privacy.
Yep.
So that's all right. Shit. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, shit. If money is no object, what if? Because like I say, I like sports, not as much as y'all. I like sports though, like football.
What would be your team? Just since we've declared ours.
Well, I mean, just hometown shit. So it would just be, Cardinals and probably Chiefs by proxy, just because that's like the home state.
Season tickets to Chiefs games is totally doable if we're talking about lottery money and you still want to live in St. Louis. You could charter something to Kansas City and be there in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say was, what if, because I said I'm a very much a casual fan. Like, I like to watch a good football game, but I don't really always have a horse in the race and follow it that closely and shit. My thing is pro wrestling. But what I was gonna say was, if money's no object, what if I just like buy the Cardinals and then cancel the franchise?
I mean, in a scenario,
everybody would want to kill me.
In a scenario where money is no object, you could do that.
Everybody
in a scenario where you won the biggest lottery in the world, you still couldn't buy the Cardinals.
But if it's money is no object, and I did that, everybody would be like, how? Jazz Tucker? Wait a minute.
Right.
1Z? Is that even his real name? Okay. Wait. His name isn't Jasmine. You're sure? Okay. Anyway, this motherfucker. What?
I mean, yeah. I've had this conversation before with some people, and I made the realization that, like, if the conversation is that route, I would actually not. I wouldn't want to buy the Cardinals. Because one, it's a well-established organization, and they already have a long winning history and everything. Like, I'm hunting for one of the teams that has classically been like owner wants profit, minimal overhead.
Yeah.
And just like trying to win. Like, there's the Yankees. The Yankees have always been that. They're always spending money. But
but they try to win.
Right? Yeah. If you're familiar with the Mets last couple of years,
Pirates.
They've recently. Well, the Mets have recently gotten purchased by a gentleman named Steve Cohen, who has made billions on the stock market, and he is completely upfront and open about the fact that he does not fucking care if this team makes money based on the amount of money he has to put into it. He is doing this because he wants to own a team that wins World Series. Yeah. And so he is going to put the money into the players, and he has already updated the stadium and the players' facilities and put all kinds of finances into that. And he's completely it's like a dream. It's what every fan claims that they would be if they were an owner. Where they're not caring about the profit. It's just like,
yeah.
Spend to win.
I would love to do that as well. Just get a team and like you said, turn a team around.
Like the Cleveland Browns, bring them their first championship or something like that. That would be fucking amazing.
Speaking of doing like pro wrestling and what you said, that's kind of like what Tony Khan with AEW is somewhat doing. Is like he back in the days of like ECW and people used to like you know what tape trading is, Bill?
Tape trading?
Yeah.
Is that just like trading VHS tapes?
I mean, it is like it's self-explanatory, but like in the wrestling like lore or whatever, without going too wrestling with it. But basically, before the internet, ECW was like the fans were like so hardcore and so in the know that everybody knew everything that was happening, almost like the internet existed, even though it didn't. And the tape trading thing was something that they did where it was on VHS. But if you missed the thing and you couldn't catch it, people like, and it was a lot of them to the point where it got a name, they were trading tapes of like, oh, you missed this episode, you missed this, and everybody would do it. So Tony Khan is kind of like that in the sense of like, he's like billionaire son, but he's starting his own wrestling company, and he's like, you know, a huge fan, and he used to tape trade back in the day and do all the ins and outs and all this shit.
Yeah, like I feel like if you were a lottery winner, you could become a professional wrestler if you wanted to. Like if that's Omari's dream, he could hire the best trainers, hire the best food nutritionist, hire the best acting coach, and then walk up to Triple H and be like, here's $40 million. I'm a member of your roster now.
But at the very least, purchasing my own ability to come out and do my own fucking interest on a WWE stage has been thought of. What that entrance is, I don't know. Like whether it's buy my way into a company, but yes, buy my way into professional wrestling has always been a thing. Is part of the back of my head when I was younger. It's like, well, I would have to be a heel because of that.
I think they immediately run with the story that you're a billionaire who has bought their way into the club, and then all the wrestlers hate you for it. But then you actually end up being good, and that's the turn.
Well, I would say, have you ever seen a wrestler like where? Because obviously Ted DiBiase did what y'all talking about in spades to a T. But have you ever seen a wrestler be like rich, but he was a good guy because it was like on some philanthropy type shit? Like that's never happened. Where he was like, I'm rich, but I'm helping everyone. Like, I mean,
yeah, you like
because people will look at that and say that's fake.
Yeah, you know that the superstars of the world are like everyone cheering for The Rock, John Cena, Hulk Hogan know that they're multi-millionaires, but they're not. It's not about their character ever.
Yeah.
Who was your like? Because we always talk about wrestling, but like he was telling me that you said that we don't necessarily talk about old school shit enough. So who was your favorite wrestler back in the day?
Oh well, I mean, my answer to that question isn't necessarily that old school, but it is adamant and defined, and it has been for a very long time, and that's Shawn Michaels. I have been a fan of wrestling. It was a me and my dad thing on Saturday mornings in the Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Undertaker era of WWF in the late 80s and early 90s. And then it was me watching all throughout the WCW versus the Nitro versus Raw era, the Attitude era. Fell out. I believe I watched all the way through the second coming of Jesus Michaels after his injuries and him coming back, and then some point fell away from wrestling before he retired, because I knew I had to learn about his retirement match coming up through Omari. But yeah, I watched with my father, and then when I realized that VHS tapes were available at the Schnucks video rental, which if anybody is familiar with that, it was a plan where anything but new releases were 5 movies for $1.
Good luck with that now.
Right. So every trip to the grocery store, I would get to go and pick out 5 movies because it was just $1 for my mom. And it was usually like multiple wrestling VHSs because they had almost every past pay-per-view from the 80s and 90s or early 90s at that Schnucks up in Grandview. And through that, watched, I believe it's WrestleMania 12, Shawn Michaels Scott Hall ladder match.
Oh yeah,
And that might be WrestleMania X.
Maybe. I would not be able to tell you.
I want to say it's either 10 or 12.
I know one of the big matches in WrestleMania 10 was Owen versus Bret, brother versus brother. I don't know if the ladder match you're talking about was 10 or 12. I'm not sure, but it was the first.
But yeah, that was the match that I saw that I became a Shawn Michaels fan, and never drifted. I enjoyed The Rock. I enjoyed Stone Cold. Before I was into Shawn Michaels, I guess you could say I was into Hulk Hogan, but I was too young to really formulate an opinion.
Yeah.
WWF told me to love Hulk Hogan, so I loved Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, so that's kind of my wrestling background.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
In a big nutshell.
I mean, what was I gonna say? Yeah, but the four biggest stars to come out of wrestling are Hogan, Austin, Rock, and Cena.
For sure.
Those are the 4 to like transcend and like become household names outside of wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, The Rock is the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
He is the biggest star in the world.
He was like, and has been like the highest paid movie star for like who knows how many years. Like, straight.
Yeah. He owns the XFL now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He owns the XFL. We're talking about fuck you money, and here The Rock is buying his own professional sports league.
Have you ever thought about what it's like to the point where you stop, in a sense, being a person and transcend and become a brand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like The Rock, Kevin Hart, I
mean, it's a very small class. Yeah.
Ronda Rousey, shit, Jay-Z, Beyonce, like you stop becoming a person and now you're a brand. Like you are like the name Jay-Z, like we know, okay, Jay-Z belongs to a person.
Yeah.
But it is like the brand of what
I don't even know if Jay-Z's there, honestly.
You don't think Jay-Z is
if you're talking, I think it's an incredibly small class, and I don't even know if Kevin Hart's in there yet. Like, if you're talking about, if you're putting Beyonce in there, Beyonce is there, like, you're talking like that class is Elvis, Michael Jackson, Beyonce.
Well, okay, then you're talking about like superstar, like.
Well, no, I think that's the class that Beyonce is fucking with.
But what I mean is,
at this point,
I agree.
The person transcends to where they become like a brand, and everybody's counting on you,
right?
Not a person anymore. No, because there's never gonna be another Michael Jackson. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's why I say, like, I would say like Eminem and Snoop Dogg are at a point where they have transcended to becoming like. You're a brand.
Oh yeah, definitely Snoop. Like you.
That's what I mean.
I mean, yeah, Snoop's a brand. Snoop's a brand for sure.
Eminem too. At this point, I'm gonna stop hating, or not hating, but you know what I mean. I'll
Eminem. You know, Eminem was the highest, like the number one music artist of the 2000s, like the highest selling.
Like
that's not surprising. I mean, for the longest time, he had the longest. He had the highest selling rap album totals. But I think I want to say Kanye eventually passed him in that.
Right, but I mean, like, of the entire 2000s decade.
Right, but yeah, so hearing that stat before makes your stat seem very likely.
Because he what was it?
Because who would he be competing with? He'd be competing with like the bubblegum pop era, like the boy bands and Britney.
Yeah.
Right. You had, I mean,
which
you
he
had
outwardly competed against.
Right.
Which he very much. Christina Aguilera better switch me chairs. Right. Costelli and Fred Durst here argue on who she gave head to first. Eminem don't give no fucks. I love it.
Right, and then outside of bubblegum pop, like there was like Korn, and Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
It's almost like
trying to think of like ubiquitous TRL kind of shit.
Yeah,
I
agree with
Destiny's Child.
Beyonce.
Beyonce. Crazy Love came out in 2003.
Yeah, we were in high school.
I think so.
That sounds about right. Yeah, Crazy in Love coming out in high school sounds right.
Yeah, Linkin Park was huge.
Linkin Park was big, yeah. That crossover album with them and Jay-Z, I remember that being huge.
Ooh, Collision Course, that was dope.
I mean, Omari was all about Linkin Park.
Yeah, I'd love me some Linkin Park.
Linkin Park is one of my inspirations when I do my like rock rap mashup type songs or whatever. I think about like, okay, because I'm making new metal, rock rap mashup shit, and I'm like, okay, I'll kind of look at their stuff, and I'm like, okay, the vibe of like when to do the breakdown, when to do this, when to whatever, the screaming, a la on some like 21 Pilots. Y'all ever got the 21 Pilots?
Sounds familiar, but no.
Basically, the biggest 21 Pilots song, even though they got so many songs that are like good, if not better than, but Stressed Out. Now, we're Stressed Out. That song was huge back in like 2015, 16. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So like now, I'm trying to think like how the rest of this shit went. If I play the song for you, I would be surprised if you didn't know it.
I mean, yeah, I probably, I mean, there's so many songs that like you've heard 20 times in a Kmart in your life.
Like the part where he's like, "My name's Blurry Face, and I care what you think." Never mind.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't like the song, but I've heard it.
Well, that's why I said.
So anyway, to answer the question, Omari, it would probably be about. I mean, I love you. I've known you for a long time, but it would probably be about $25 million.
All right.
And then Jazz, I mean, in the grand scheme of the world, we barely know each other. So like 1.5 mil.
Oh, okay. I thought
1.5 mil.
Like so a cool 100.
No. I don't want to cut out because the potential is still like you got to think about the future potential is what you're cutting away. Like maybe Omari and I have already capped. And you and I are still growing yet to come. I can't deny that, but 1.5.
That's fair because, like you said, we know each other, but our history isn't that vast, right? But no, we never officially answered. Like, do we dare answer, Pete, or do we just like?
I mean, I technically answered.
I mean, you answered, but you did a cop-out ass bullshit answer. I'm gonna be honest.
How's that a cop-out bullshit ass answer?
Because it's a lie. We know it's a lie. You say that there's you saying that there's no dollar amount in the world is a lie.
It would have been better off to not say anything than to say there is nothing. Like, just don't say nothing. Yeah.
Because like we live on other sides of the country, and so until we started doing a weekly podcast, like there were long stretches where we didn't even speak to each other, and not necessarily by choice. It was just that's
how it is being friends, yeah.
Right, adults and friends and shit.
I can't say that about me and him though, because we
circumstantial.
Every at least once a month, every few months, we would talk. That is true.
That's awesome.
Also, I would at least try to
reach
reach
out
out on birthdays.
That's a problem.
I would at least try to reach out on birthdays. Now, there was a while where I was sending the wrong person happy birthday messages.
Wait, you did that shit?
But yeah, no. No, it wasn't meant to be like a cop-out answer.
I know.
I don't want. I hoard friends and friendships.
It's more valuable than money.
I always have. Now, as a whole concept, or there's some people I know out there that I would accept money for. Yes. I'm not that superficial, like everyone who's my friend is that. But there are people who I just don't want not in my life. And you two are two upset people. And that's what I am saying. Because now, like,
make me feel like shit.
Like,
because I answered.
No, I'm not trying to do that. Because I get your point. You make a great point about the fact that, we technically have done the whole long time without talking to each other.
Like, my answer for you may not even necessarily be exactly 25. It's basically anyone other than my wife, there is a number. And whatever that number is, for me to never have to worry about money again. That's the number.
Well, what I mean.
And you're in that class. That's
fair.
Whatever that number is, for me to I never have to worry about money ever again. That's the number.
Fair.
What's the number for... we're going to find out the number for this wife, huh? No, I'm joking.
It's funny you say that. It mentioned money not being an object, because...
that would be zero, because like you guys said, almost everything that you list it's not going to be as fun if you're doing it alone.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And have all this money and then all of a sudden be back to ground zero dating wise. Like that's a thing I can't put a dollar value on.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world, bachelor life. Yeah, okay.
Right.
What about instead of like $1 billion, 1 billion gallons of blood?
Well, no. What am I gonna do with that?
Am I a vampire?
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just want to say
what am I gonna do with that?
I just want to say some dumb shit. Oh man, I want to say some more dumb shit. Omari. Oh, okay. Now he's like, you know what? 10 cents, bitch.
Yeah. All right, motherfucker. I'll show you. No.
Anyway. But speaking of things that are priceless, other things that are also priceless would be keeping up with us. So if you want to follow us on our respective socials, then myself, yours truly, you can go ahead and find me anywhere that you stream your music. I am a rapper. I believe we may or may not have alluded to it in this episode. I am a rapper. I get my MC on from time to time. So you can go ahead and check me out under the name Superjaz, which is spelled Superjaz. And you can go ahead, release my debut solo album last year, My Secret Identity. Go ahead, put that anywhere you stream music. You might have to put in Superjaz, My Secret Identity, because I'm not so famous yet. Also, you can go ahead on Twitter under the handle Superjaz2, which is spelled Superjaz number 2. Look me up, go ahead, follow your boy. And on Instagram, find and follow me under the name Forever Superjaz. The word forever is spelled correctly. And aside from every Wednesday, almost did it backwards again like I did on the last episode. Aside from every Wednesday, when we do this, first Sunday of every month, we can never stop talking about wrestling. So we did a whole podcast devoted to wrestling, me and Omari, Pete, where we do first Sunday wrestling. Where can they find you, man? Pete?
Well, first of all, you can find me here every week, every Wednesday on this show here with Superjaz. I almost forgot to do it at all.
I have paused every time I said it because I was expecting to be interrupted.
No, you can see me here every week, every Wednesday. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube under feogrande. That is feogrande, where I do a show every week, every Tuesday with the gentleman below us, Bill Smith over here. I also am on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Yeah. And Bill, you got anything you want to say to people? Anything you want to?
I actually did want to do a shout out. One of my favorite podcasts is a podcast called Get Played. It's 3 comedians who really enjoy video games, and they talk about video games every week. Sometime in their original run, it was specifically playing bad video games, and each episode was dedicated to a particularly bad video game in the history of video games, and they kind of got tired of the monotony of that, and now it's just kind of a general video game podcast, and I really enjoy it. But they've started a Patreon where they're specifically of a offshoot called Get Animated. And for $5 a month, currently you can just pay for 1 month and access the entire run of one of the hosts who is a big diehard fan of Neon Genesis Evangelion, slowly showing the 2 other hosts who have never seen hardly any anime Evangelion and then the end of Evangelion for the very first time. Oh, nice. And it's a very enjoyable listen. I think it would be enjoyable for someone who is a longtime fan of Evangelion or someone who decides to watch along while listening to this podcast. Okay. So go check that out. Either Get Played or Get Animated.
That sounds like something he'd be into.
Okay, that does sound cool. Awesome.
Well, whether it be about wrestling and Shawn Michaels and, The Rock or whatever, whether it be about price tags on relationships, whether it be about secluded areas or otherwise where we would reside, this is embarrassing. I never know. Apologize. But what the fuck are we going to talk about next time?
Whatever we want. As well as your answer to the question.
Good. I see. Be nice to yourself, everybody.